Prasanth Sugathan is volunteer legal director at Software Freedom Law Center in New Delhi and has worked extensively on internet laws. I would now like to invite him for his remarks. Mr. Sugathan.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And thanks, Arnab, for the opening remarks and make it very clear the kind of issues that you grapple with when you are developing the app. Now, let me make this very clear at the onset. See, we are all in this together, and any debate or any discussion should be seen in that light. Now, for any initiative from the government to greater adoption, the initiative should inspire trust. Trust is an important aspect, again, when we are fighting this pandemic. That is one important reason when we at SFLC pointed out the need for the code base, the software to be open source. One important aspect there is that when the code is open source, it ensures that the developer community from both India and abroad can participate in the development. This ensures that security audit of the code is there at each and every stage of development. Keeping the project as closed source, on the other hand, goes against this entire policy on adoption of open source, the open source policy which has been followed by the government. Moreover, if you look at the terms of service and terms of the app as such, it specifically says that instead of encouraging security audit, this security audit itself is discouraged as the terms prevent reverse engineering. That's important concern that we have, because reverse engineering, it is important if a security audit has to happen. This is, for everyone's reverse engineering is a process through which one can study a computer program, understand how it works, and also to find out, is it exactly what the app developer is saying that it does, or is there something more to it? But that is very important when we are using an app like this, which also has, as all of us understand, that it also has the potential to be a mass surveillance tool. And that is where it will be very important to ensure that the app is very secure and it does only what it says that it does. So that's one issue number one. Now, again, when it comes to reverse engineering, this is something which is even permitted by the Copyright Act. Now, when a statute provides for reverse engineering, it's unfortunate that the terms of service of a government app goes exactly against it and has a clause which prevents reverse engineering. Now, another major issue that I just want to point out, there are like a few major things. I'm sure Siddharth will be pointing out and looking into the issues of proportionality, necessity, etc. I wanted to point out a major important aspects before we get into those issues. One is with respect to the mission creep of this application. So an app which started as something voluntary, a voluntary contact tracing app, is now slowly morphing into a multi-purpose app. When the app is extended for functions like ePass, the app becomes a de facto mandatory app. That is a problem. What was initially kind of explained, promoted as a voluntary app, and if you make that a de facto mandatory app, then it becomes problematic. And this definitely will affect the trust factor and also will affect the adoption. Again, when the app, when people start using it for functions like e-passes, the risk of false positives also became very large. We all know what happened in China, where people who are even COVID negative, they are considered to be in the risk category because of some issues with the app. We don't want that to happen in India, where just because somebody, because of a false positive, a person could be treated as to belong to the risk category and could be denied access maybe to his workplace, maybe to a public transport system, things like that. That's something that we need to be very careful about. This also is a problem when we look at the issue of surveillance, when government recently came up with a tender on patient tracking software, which reads cell tower dumps, gateway dumps, and even has mobile forensic capabilities. Now, these are the kind of initiatives, let's say issues, which does not instill any confidence for the citizen. So when you come up with an app or a software which is called a patient tracking software, and it has capabilities for things like gateway dumps, mobile forensic capabilities, and then definitely this is problematic. Also, and even if you look at the kind of servers and services which the app lister talks to, I don't personally consider it a problem for using a cloud service. Most of the apps will be using some cloud service like AWS or various other services. But the problem here was that MeitY, in a statement filed before the Kerala High Court, in a litigation with respect to a service used by the Kerala government, specifically said that only state data centers or national centers should be used while handling sensitive personal data, by handling citizen data. But that goes against what is done in the case of Aarogya Setu. I mean, the person from NITI can correct me. But when we tried to figure out how the communication happened, we found that AWS is being used, Google Firebase is used. I'm not saying that it is definitely this can be done, but when MeitY comes up with a statement before a high court and states that this cannot be done, and when they themselves do it, this raises serious issues. So the bottom line is this: it's important for the government to make sure that whatever steps are taken, this can garner trust of the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sugathan.